What's going on? This your boy Sermon at Sermon's Domain on Twitter. Last night, Atlanta made its long-awaited return with Season 2, Episode 1, titled Alligator Man. In 2016, when Atlanta first debuted, it was like an instant hit. Everybody on social media loved it, the critics enjoyed it, and the ratings were a huge reflection of its success, to the point that it was granted a season 2 before season 1 even finished. And I gotta say, it's one of the best shows on TV today. There's really nothing like it. There's elements of stuff that have been done before, but as a whole, as the topics that they tackle, the dialogue that they create, there's nothing else on it, on TV, past or present, that has felt like Atlanta. So I have a few thoughts that I wanted to share about Season 2, Episode 1, Alligator Man. The opening scene to me was real beautiful. I really enjoyed the shootout in the restaurant. I think that was very unexpected. When I was watching it, I'm like, okay, they're robbing the fast food joint. They're going to get what they want and get out. No, this guy comes around the corner and then the AK-47 starts shooting at him. The fast food employee had an AK-47 just stashed somewhere in case somebody tried to rob them just like this. And it makes sense. You got like the drugs in the back. I mean, you kind of want to protect that. But it was unexpected, to say the least. And so I like that because it perfectly explains the sub-headline for Season 2, which is Robin Season, to the point that I'm curious how Robin Season will end up affecting the main characters. We won't know how it affects them until like a few episodes in, I would imagine. And even then, it might just be like one episode that revolves around them, and maybe it's just like the entire Atlanta. Like, we just see these little moments, like when Darius and Earn are at the gas station real quick. They look around, they look around and they see, cops and a body on the ground. And Darius is like, it's Robin season, it's almost Christmas, so I wouldn't be surprised if we got like a Christmas themed episode. But I do wonder how it'll affect them. At the end of this episode, you have Earn with this gold pistol that he got from Willie, who was played by Cat Williams. And I'm wondering if that is something that could come into play later on. But I also know that from season 1, a lot of the stuff that we see that could end up impacting a later episode doesn't really happen. You've had so many things that could have popped up again and again, but it's not like there's a whole lot of continuity in Atlanta. The one thing that was kind of continued with episode 1 for season 2 was the fact that Paperboy is on house arrest and Ernest has to go see his PO. Their actions in season 1 led them to these consequences. And it's an interesting way to kick off the season because Paperboy, last we saw him, he was, gaining some momentum. And so now it's like, damn, you're on house arrest. That's got to be killing a lot of stuff. I think it'll create some problems between Earn and Paperboy in the long run because it's like, Earn needs money. So Paperboy is like his, money bag, as Willie ends up saying later in the episode. And so I think that might create some issues because Earn is homeless right now. He's sleeping in his storage unit. And he's too prideful to really ask for help. At the end of the episode, Darius asks, "Are you good?" And he says, "Yeah, I'm good." Then he goes outside and who knows where he's going from there because the storage unit might be gone by the time that he gets back there. So it's like he's too prideful and it's going to be like the death of him. The whole meat of this episode was Earn and Darius going to Willie's house. Willie is Earn's uncle, which makes him Al's dad, which is pretty interesting. So Cat Williams was a surprise to see. I wasn't expecting him to be in this series, but he really nailed down his character. They're there. Earn and Darius are there to figure out what's going on because Al got a call that Willie kidnapped his girl and locked her in the bedroom, and yeah, it's a big mess. Then the police come, and it has some of like the best lines. Like Willie's character, he says, "We not domestic, we not even married." Like the police come and they're like, "We heard there was a domestic altercation." He's like, "We not domestic, we not even married." And then, "Does she live here?" And then he's like, "No, she don't live here. I'm just fucking a bitch." It made me laugh just the way that Cat Williams is able to deliver this and feel like his whole like pimp like persona that he's always had with like his stand up in his entire career. Like you feel his characters because he's casted right when it comes to like the roles that he's played in his career. The other line that I really thought was like spectacular, might be my favorite line out of the entire episode, was when Darius walked over to Willie in the living room and he said, "I would say nice to meet you, but I don't believe in time as a concept, so I'll say we always met." It goes back to when I was saying in season 1 that Darius always has these great one-liners that really add to his weirdness of his character. There were some really like real moments too. Like in the kitchen when Willie and Earn are talking and he mentions how he has to stay on Al's good side. That was a real conversation. And he also kind of hints at the fact that they might like have a breakup of their work relationship, because he talks about other family members that have gone through that managed, and now they don't even speak. And so I wonder if that's kind of foreshadowing something. I mean, it would kind of make sense. You can kind of see that there might be some tension brewing eventually. The only disappointing thing that I had about this episode, and it's minor, is the alligator. Now, the alligator walked out of the front door so intimidating, and I was like, okay, this is awesome. He looks badass. But then it's just like he just kind of turned around and sat down in the grass. And I'm like, okay, is that it? It's kind of anticlimactic. But it kind of makes up for it because the next scene we see Willie running. Like he booked it as fast as he can down the street, and that's the last that we see of him. I really love this episode though. I watched it twice. I had to make sure that I captured all my favorite lines. I didn't talk about this one, but when they were at the gas station, Ernest asked Darius, "What flavor is a flaming hot Cheeto?" And Darius responds, "Hot." And then Earn eats one and says, "I could taste the hot." It's like a small little scene that really doesn't have any bearings on the story, but it was still funny nonetheless. I am very excited to keep discussing Atlanta over the next, couple months until season 2 wraps up, and then hopefully we don't have to wait until 2019 for season 3. Because we all know it's going to end up getting renewed. It's too popular. Unless Donald Glover decides that he doesn't want to do it anymore, which could be a possibility, but I don't know. I think there's still a lot of story to tell, and it wouldn't make sense to end it with just 2 seasons. So those are my thoughts on Atlanta Season 2, Episode 1, Alligator Man. After you watch this episode, let me know what you think about it. What was your favorite scene in the episode? What were your favorite lines? Talk to me in the comment section below, and then like the video, subscribe to the channel if you're not already, share the video. Follow me on Twitter at Sermons Domain, and as always, thank you for your time. I appreciate you for watching, and until next time, peace.